I thought that I would share quite personally my own experience this week and how I've been trying to work with myself. And as you know, I do that sometimes. And it's not easy because this is so immediate and raw, but I felt like it was important to. That last week, I think it was Thursday or towards the end of the week, the president went to El Paso to offer comfort in the wake of a deadly attack against Hispanic people by a person who wanted to stop the invasion of immigrants into this country. And just hours before, as many of you are aware, the administration sent federal agents to meatpacking plants in Mississippi and arrested about 680 mostly Latino immigrants, just a few hours before he went to offer comfort. And there was mass confusion in those communities. The older children were just in their first day of school of these parents that were being hauled away in buses and imprisoned. And so on the news, what I could hear was people yelling, let them go, there are children here, and I could hear children crying. And that's when I just felt this welling up of anger at the cruelty, the tearing apart of the Latino immigrant families. And that the president was choosing to use the same language as used by the terrorists, the invasion of immigrants. So continuing to create the same atmosphere for violence. So it welled up in me, a lot of anger. And I turned off the news. I said, oh, okay, I could feel it in me. Went back to work, including writing talks about peace and love and meditation and everything I do. But there I was feeling this grimness and this tightness, and my heart was like clenched. And my anger was very focused. I was very much bad othering. And then just more and more in the back of my mind, hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is healed. Over and over again. Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is healed. This is the ancient and eternal law. And it brings tears right now because it's such a truth. It's like, okay, so this body-mind got caught in that tightness. But there's such a bigger truth. So I stopped working and I sat down to meditate, and I did a few things. The first thing is what I call a U-turn, where instead of aiming my anger outward at bad others, I turned it around and I said, okay, what's really going on inside here? And under the anger, what I was feeling was a huge amount of fear and powerlessness for the harm being caused to people that are vulnerable, including, it's not very many degrees of separation anymore. It's like, friends and their families, that close. So fear. And then underneath that was caring. And there was mixed into the caring, there's a huge amount of grief. And so I wept. I went from the anger into the weeping, and I just sat there as I often do with my hands on my heart, and I just cried. What followed that, I can loop back a little later, was some more reflecting and then some action that I felt might be helpful in our world situation, my own little way. But what I want to explore together is this basic grounds of how we wake up out of the trance that keeps us small, that aims blame at maybe a particular person or a group, and come to some larger place of understanding. And that's what I really want to explore. And some of you may be thinking, yeah, but outrage and anger is totally appropriate. And because, you need the energy to do something. And it is appropriate. Anger is intelligent. And I certainly wasn't saying, oh, I shouldn't be angry. In fact, I think we have to listen to our anger. And I know many, many people that are feeling incredibly angry and disturbed, and there's an intelligence that knows that when there's violent speech and violent action against fellow beings, that it's crushing to know that and that we want to help. So that it's intelligent. And here's one of my favorite lines. This is from a very dear friend and Buddhist teacher, Ruth King. She says, "Anger is initiatory. It is not transformative." Anger is initiatory. It is not transformative. We need the energy. It wakes us up. It alerts us. But then we need to keep on going to what's next. Another teacher of mine, Ruby Sales, who's a civil rights activist and an elder, she describes non-redemptive anger as when you lose access to your deepest intelligence and wisdom. Redemptive anger is when you get energized, but then you move on to out of care acting. So non-redemptive anger, getting stuck in bad othering, actually fuels the soul sickness of our society. And there's a wisdom in us that knows what Martin Luther King means by soul force, that knows that when we're really, really alive with caring and when we join hands, that's soul force. We can act out of compassion to make a difference. Hatred never ceases by hatred, but by love alone is seized. This is an ancient and eternal law.